So my books are currently holding up my tripod. So I'm gonna hope really, really, really hard that this doesn't like fall over mid speaking. But hi, my name is Hannah. Welcome back to my channel. I have a lot of opinions about books, but I thought today would be fun to, instead of telling you about books that I would like to read, show you about books that remind me why I love to read. So I'm just gonna go ahead and get started into it. If you like what I say, if we have similar taste in books, go ahead and subscribe. I try to post every week if I can. And if you have any suggestions, I'm open to anything. Mostly anything. So probably my most favorite book of all time, and one of the reasons why I do still love reading as much as I do, is The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. I read this last January, so it's been a little over a year since I read this, and I need to reread this because it's been so long. But there is just something about this book that is forever ingrained into my personality and who I am as a person, and just like into my soul. It basically follows a golden age actress named Evelyn Hugo. It follows her being a woman of color. It follows her being a queer woman, and what that is like. And it's a love story, but it is just so heartbreaking and riveting. And Taylor Jenkins Reid just has such a way with words that I could not recommend this book to you. So 5 out of a million out of 5 stars. Then this one's kind of an unpopular opinion now, but It Ends With Us by Colleen Hoover. I don't agree with everything that Colleen Hoover has written or has done in her personal life, but this book does and will forever mean something to me as someone who grew up watching domestic violence and has been a victim of that within my family life. This book spoke to me on so many levels, and I think that this is the one time that Colleen Hoover got it right, and it is such a personal story. And Lily is, while not a greatly named character, is such a strong, perseverant, wonderful female main character that this is a story that needed to be told. And this is not a romance book. It's not an aesthetic story. This is a very important, hard, devastating, disturbing read, but you need to read it. But make sure you check trigger warnings and make sure it's something you can handle, because you always need to take care of yourself before you go into a book or a piece of literature. Speaking of pieces of literature, Othello by Shakespeare. So this is my copy. I read the No Fear Shakespeare when I was in high school, I believe my junior or sophomore year. And there's just something about the story. I like the commentary on race. I love the commentary on, women. I love just the way that this story is told. And it's funny to me. It's sad to me. It's just, there's something about this story that I find so interesting and so different from all of Shakespeare's other works, which I kind of see as kind of boring. This one is a new take. It's fresh. It's fun. And I can't wait to reread it and annotate it, because I bought the original version from like Half Price Books for like $2. So if there's any Shakespeare play or piece of literature from Shakespeare I would recommend, it would be Othello. One book that I love, it's gonna be like a 2-for-1, is actually Nicholas Sparks. I know that these are like your typical romance books, but The Notebook by Nicholas Sparks and The Last Song by Nicholas Sparks. The Notebook is actually the first book I ever annotated. I read this when I was in high school, I believe my junior year of high school. And it's just such a sad, heartbreaking, but also hopeful story about love. And I love that. I love the connection. I love Sparks' way of words. I love he loves literature, and that comes across so clearly. Along as with The Last Song as well. I love the father-daughter relationships explained in this book, because that's also something that's very near and dear to me as I try and navigate my relationship with my own father. And then just the romance between Ronnie and Will. And also the movie's great, and I have the movie cover. So these are 2 books that if you are getting into romance or reading, these are 2 books that I highly recommend. Then a couple other books that remind me is the We Were Liars duet. This probably got me into my like latest obsession of reading. You have We Were Liars and Family of Liars, both by E. Lockhart. I read this book and it just like was so good. It's probably like my favorite young adult romance, if not my favorite, then one of them at the very least. But it follows Cadence, and something happens the summer that she's 15, and just like the familial structures and relationships and just the love between cousins and relationships that were explained in this book, as someone who loves their cousins and grew up with a very large close family that may no longer really have that as much anymore, I very much appreciate the commentary on family in these books. There is a bit of a romance, but it mostly focuses on the relationship between siblings, parents, families. It's also very entertaining, and if you are looking to get into reading, I would definitely recommend. Again, it's the We Were Liars and Family of Liars, both by E. Lockhart. And then my last favorite book is like the pinnacle of literature to me, is The Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller. There is not enough words to explain how beautiful this book is and how much I love this book. This book is very confusing at times to read because the way that Miller explains things and writes things is just, it's so poetic and lyrical. It kind of just like, it's like a gigantic poem, basically, like a run-on poem. But the story and just the love between Achilles and Patroclus is something that very, very few romance books have yet to achieve. And I love this book so much. It is a 5-star. Even if I don't fully understand the weight or the words of what Miller was saying, I fully appreciate the story because of just how much love there is between Patroclus and Achilles. And those are books that I love that remind me why I love reading so much. If you read 1 book a year, if you read 300 books a year, it doesn't matter. Reading is supposed to be enjoyed and supposed to be a way for you to calm yourself down, to explore other worlds, whatever have you. But that is all from me today. I hope you have a wonderful day and happy reading. Bye.